Hello, I am Ignace from toolrateCinematics.com, and today I'll be showing you how to create this realistic looking earth in Adobe Photoshop without using anything except for this stock footage texture for the earth itself. So that's all we're going to use. The link will be in the description, of course. So yeah, let's get started. Go to File, click on New, and just enter dimensions over here. So for me it's 9020 on 1080, resolution of 72, and I'm going to rename my project to Earth. So hit OK once you've done that. Then I'm going to fill my my background with Ctrl Shift F5. If you didn't follow, just go to Edit and Fill, and not Ctrl Shift F5, just Shift F5. I'm sorry. Then just use black over here and normal and hit OK. Then we're going to create a new layer over here. Also do the same thing, Shift F5, hit OK. And now we are going to filter, noise, add noise, and that's for the stars. So get the amount of 10%, not more than that. Gaussian distribution and a monochromatic. So hit OK once you've done that. Go to Image, Adjustments, and Levels. Now we want to just adjust these until we have some small, not too many stars in the background. Something like this should be working fine, I guess. Maybe a little bit more over here. Okay, just mess around a little bit with the settings until you're satisfied. Then hit OK. Once you've done that, we're going to add some larger stars over here. So we're going to create a new layer. You can rename it to large stars and small stars, and this to background. Okay, so also fill this large stars layer with black. Hit enter, and then we're going to filter again and add the same noise, or hit Ctrl F on the keyboard. Once you've done that, go to filter again, blur and Gaussian blur. We're just gonna blur it for like 1 or 2 pixels. I'm going to use 2 pixels over here, and then I'm gonna hit OK. Once you've done that, go to Image, Adjustments, and again the levels. So now just play around again, just like this. And there we go, we have our large kind of stars over here. Just play around. Okay, something like this, hit OK. And then we're going to change the layer mode to screen. So now we see the large stars and the small stars together. So now we are going to add a nice vignette at the corners, because it's not really nice to see all stars over here. So like in the corners I want it to be dark. It's always nice to just use a vignette for things like these. So create a new layer again. Select your elliptical mask marquee tool and add a feather of, let's say, 200 pixels. Then we're going to drag a rectangle, an ellipse over here, and hold Ctrl Shift and press I on the keyboard to invert your selection, or go to select and invert right over here, inverse. Okay, once you've done that, just right click, fill it with the black again, hit OK. And now we're going to lower the opacity for this layer to, let's say, 75%, something like that. Looks pretty fine. As you can see, the stars are way too similar, and there's not enough variation in this, so I like to add a mask for both of these layers and just add a fractal noise. Well, no, clouds, it's fractal noise in After Effects, but it's the same effect, which I think is odd, but whatever. Just click on your small stars, deselect and check the key, the eye over here for the large stars, so we are only working with the smalls. Click on the layer and create a mask for that layer. Click on the mask over here and go to Filter, Render, and Clouds. And now what you can see is that some are just disappeared, and that's because the clouds are black and white, and everything that's black will just be deleted in your image. But if you click over here and you go over it with a white brush, everything will just come back, so you don't lose anything. And that's why I love to work with these instead of just deleting it on the layer itself. So it's looking a little bit better now, and we want to do the same thing for the large stars. So check it back on, and then just add a new mask over here, filter, add a render clouds over here, and there we go. So this is looking pretty fine. Now we want to add some colors to the stars, because white is a little bit sad color, so I just want to tune it up a little bit with some blues over here. So I'm just going to select both of the large and small stars and group them by holding Ctrl and pressing G on the keyboard. Rename it to stars altogether, then just duplicate this by right clicking and duplicate it. Then just hit OK, and then just uncheck this one. So if we are doing something wrong, we can always go back to these stars. Once you've done that, right click on the first folder and merge the group. That will make one layer of all these layers we've used. So now what we want to do is just go to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. Check the colorize over here. Let's set saturation be at 25%, and then just select some blue color, like 200% I guess, and hit OK. So now we can just duplicate the same layer and add a filter of blur and Gaussian blur and change it to 1%, hit OK, and also linear dodge add. So as you can see, it's a little bit clearer and a little bit more shininess on these stars. So also I like to add a new hue and saturation again. Also check the colorize, and then just bump up the saturation just a bit for the glow effect over here. So hit OK once you've done that, and now we are ready to start on our Earth itself. So I'm going to import this texture in our file over here. Okay, that's way too big, so well, I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So it's I'm going to open up my source file over here, and then I'm just going to drag it into this window so it's fitting the window immediately. Okay, hit enter on the keyboard. I'm going to delete the previous layer of the Earth. Okay, we can delete this layer. Okay, so once we have something like this here, we're just going to pick our elliptical marquee tool again, hold Shift and Alt, and then just start dragging over here with your mouse while you have Alt and Shift hold on your keyboard. If you want to move your selection without starting all over again, just hold space, and then you can just drag it all over your screen, and then just release your space bar, and now you can just keep on selecting the size of your marquee tool. So once you're satisfied, just release it. And I see I've made a mistake. We still have the feather going on over here, so we have to restart without the feather. Just do it again. And there we go. Release it, and now also add a mask tool for this. So just click over here on this button, and that will make this mask. Okay, click on your thumbnail of your Earth itself. Hold Ctrl and click on the thumbnail, and I can see on the thumbnail of the mask over here. So just hold Ctrl and click over here. So you can see now there's a selection around our Earth right over here, and that's because we are going to add a filter effect for a distort and a spherize right over here. And we want to change this amount to 50%, mode normal, and hit OK. And what that'll do is just spherize or texture a bit, so it's like a little bit more round instead of just being flat. Once you've done that, right click on your Earth and go to blending options. We want to add a inner shadow right over here. Click on the inner shadow, change the distance, and change the angle to -45 degrees, and distance until you're satisfied. It's all up to you actually. And change the opacity to 96%, something like that, or 98. Okay. Change the color to black. I didn't have it as black, so that's why it's not working for 95. Okay, so the size we want to change it to, let's say 100, and the distance it's all up to you. So I think this is pretty cool. Maybe a little bit more distance and a little bit more in size. Something like this should be working fine. Okay, so hit OK on the keyboard, on the tab. Okay. So once you've done that, we're going to add some adjustment layers to gather a nice stylish look on our earth. So we're going to right over here, and we're going to add a curves. Now we want to just click on the curves and drag this down just a bit, and then click over here and just drag it up just a bit, not too much, so you don't cross it, and then you can get some contrast over here. Again, click on the adjustment layers, and then we're going to add a black and white. We're going to the opacity for the black and white and change this to 50 or 40%. I will use 40%. If you get this below the curves, you might have better shadows, I guess. Then what we want to do is add a hue and saturation adjustment layer, get this on top of all the other adjustment layers, and we want to colorize it to something blue right over here. Okay, there we go. Change the blending mode to an overlay, and then just change the opacity to 40% or 35%. Then select all the adjustment layers, right click and create clipping mask, and what that will do is it will just use these adjustment layers only for the earth layer and not for the background. So once you have done that, we can just add or glow around our earth, and to do that we're going to Ctrl click again on this mask, create a new layer over here, release the clipping tool, get this on top, select both all the adjustments, and again create clipping mask. Okay, so in this layer, with the selection going on, right click and hit fill, and now we're not going to use a black color, but we're going to use a white color, and hit OK. Then we want to drag this below our earth and then just position it just like this over here, and then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and then just blur it out for, let's say, 5 pixels or 6 pixels, and hit OK. If you're satisfied with the position, right click, go to blending options, and add a outer glow. The outer glow, we are going to change the color to a nice blue color, hit OK. Change the blending mode to add, and then just increase the size over here. Okay, so I like this one here. I'm gonna move it just a bit more to the top, and maybe I'm going to hold Ctrl and press T to transform it, and then just make it just a little bit smaller, so you don't have these glows behind the shadows over here. Just like this, maybe even smaller. There we go. So I like this one over here. Now what you want to do is add a nice inner glow over here, not too much to our earth itself. So go back to the blending options of our earth layer, go to inner glow, and then just increase the size just a bit, not too much, and also select a nice, very light blue color. So also change the blending mode to add, and as you can see now, it's looking just a bit better. And there we go. This is our earth, and we want to make it a little bit smaller, so hold Ctrl, press T on the keyboard, then just hold Alt and Shift while dragging it smaller, so the ratio stays the same. Okay, hit OK. Okay, it's a little bit slower because I'm recording, I guess. Oh, and I forgot to take this one with it. So I'm going to select this layer and this layer, and hold Ctrl, press G on the keyboard to group this as well. Rename it to Earth, and then just hold Ctrl and press T on the keyboard to transform it, just like this, and hit Enter on the keyboard. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna position it right over here. Okay, so now what we want to do is add a nice flare over here. As you can see in the background, you can make your own flares, or you can find them online. To make your own, I will just show you very quickly on how to do that. Just create a new layer, also fill it with a black, so Shift F5, use black, hit OK, go to Filter, Render, Lens Flares, and the brightness, keep it at 100, and highlight the 105mm prime, get it in the center over here, and hit OK. Now I like to transform it and make it a little bit smaller, and then just erase, pick your eraser tool, get the hardness to 0%, and then just I like to make it a little bit smoother at the edges, so you don't see these corners over here. Something like that. Make sure you don't keep any corners straight, so if you want to see this, just uncheck everything, do it like this. And there we go. Select them back on, except for this one, I guess. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, I'm sorry. So click back on the flares over here and go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and now we are just going to decrease this one so we get a lot of black around our flare, and then just increase this one over here. Just mess around until you're satisfied. Maybe hit OK and change the blend mode to add already, so you can see how it looks like. There we go. Make it just a little bit more smaller. And there we go. Go back, adjustment levels, and just keep adjusting this until you're satisfied with the results. And there we go. Okay, go to filter, blur, and add a Gaussian blur so you don't see these stupid effects and this flare. I really dislike the flares that come with Photoshop actually, so I like to tune them all, tune them up just like I want. So then we're going to duplicate this layer by holding Ctrl and pressing J on the keyboard. Hold Ctrl and press T to transform it, and then just hold Alt and just make it really thin. Or don't hold Alt, make it even thinner, because sometimes it can get hard to do that with while holding Alt. Hold Alt and make it large, hit Enter on the keyboard, and go back to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, just 2 pixels or maybe even 1, and hit OK. Now we can do that again, duplicate it, rotate it just a bit, make them smaller, or don't make them smaller, rotate it, and then just erase it over here. Also an option, but it should be smaller, so I'm just gonna transform it a bit like this. Okay, there we go. This is our basic flare. We're going to select all the 3D layers that has to do something with the flare, right click and merge these layers. Then go to the blending options and take add again. Then we're going to Image, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation, check the Colorize box, and go to Saturation to 60% and change it to a blue color, maybe in 50%. And there we go, we have our flare up and set and ready. What you can do as well is add a blur. If you duplicate it, add a blur, a radial blur, and then just click on Zoom Best, and let's say 60, hit OK. And that will just blur this out, add a zoomish effect. I don't know if it will work with this flare. Maybe you should noise. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't. Well, you can just add noise and then just do it again. Okay. Maybe that's too much. Okay, hit OK, and then just go to blur, radial blur, hit OK. And then I guess it's overlay. Yep, there we go. But as you can see, the zoom is set wrong, so we'll have to do it again. Go to blur, radial blur, and then just position it. I guess it's right over here. That's a little bit stupid sometimes with Photoshop, that you can't use just use it over here. Well, we'll have to do it with the ropes you have. So hit OK. I think you get the idea. So if you want to take your time for it, just mess around with it, and you'll find a way. I'm sure. Okay, so no, that's not good either. So we're almost there, I guess. By the way, to return a step, I'm always using ctrl Z, so if you didn't know it already. Okay, we're almost there, just a little bit, and okay, I'm just trying to do this to make a good tutorial. Now it should work fine, I guess. Okay, so now change it to add, to overlay, I'm sorry. Maybe position it right over here, and then just decrease the opacity just a bit. And as you can see, we have our flare right over here. So maybe decrease these opacities from the strokes over here. I didn't do this this time, but doesn't really matter. Now for the other effect, as you can see in the background, I did something over here because I thought it was a little bit too empty just using these stars, so I just just used a simple effect in Photoshop. So let's do that. Create a new layer again and fill it with black again. So Shift F5, use black. Okay, go to Filter, Render, Clouds, and now what we want to do is go to Filter again and go to, I think it's well, let's go to the filter gallery. Okay, and go to stylize and click on glowing edges and hit OK. So now what we have here is the same effect as in my background. Just take a nice selection over here, so just select around it. And just draw something. Maybe even use the lasso, it might be a little bit better, I guess. Okay, so if you're done, close the selection, right click, add a feather of maybe 10% and hit OK. Ctrl Shift I on the keyboard to invert our selection and press the delete key, or no, we're going to add a mask. Okay, so if you want to change something, as you can see, it deleted the other side. So just go to image, while you clicked on the mask, go to image and go to adjustments, invert, or hit Ctrl I on the keyboard. Then we want to change the blend mode to add for our layer itself. And as you can see, oh, I still got this selected. As you can see, we have something right over here. You might just take your brush tool and change it to a black color, and then just make it a lot smaller, hardness to 0%, and then just draw around it, zoom in a bit, and take your time. I'm just making a tutorial, guys, so I'm trying to make the tutorial as quick and as easy as possible, but of course I always have viewers that want to create something crazy and take their time, so you should do that. You should really do that. Okay, there we go. And we have a simple kind of abstract thing, I guess. And then just go to image, adjustments, levels. And I have selected the wrong. I should select this one over here, so not the layer mask itself. So image, adjustments, levels. Okay, there we go. And just make it a little bit brighter. Okay, and hit OK. Go to image, adjustments, hue and saturation, click the colorize box and get a color that you want. Doesn't matter what. You can always use that in the background to drag it below our earth over here. You can always blur it out, and well, you can do whatever you want actually. So blur it out and get it in an overlay or something. Oh, not overlay. I just mess around a bit. So I'm going to use an add, and I'm not gonna blur it out. I like the sharpness, even if it's not realistic or anything. I'm going back, backwards, Alt Control. Okay, there we go. Drag it below. Okay, there we go. And I like to use blue or purple maybe. Yeah, I like this one. And maybe duplicate it and add a blur, Gaussian blur, to get some glow around it. Okay, and there we go, we have something spacey looking. Maybe it's too purple in my opinion, so just merge these layers, get the adjustment to add again, and just add an adjustment hue and saturation. That might be easier if you want to change these settings. Just check the colorize box, create a clipping mask by holding Alt and clicking. I know sometimes I'm doing things without telling you guys. I'm trying to concern about that, but sometimes I'm just too used to it, and I forget to tell you guys. So if you missed anything, just post it in the comments. Well, I rather have you personal messaging me, because I always read my messages. So if you are really with a problem, just message me on my channel. If you have other suggestions for a tutorial, just leave a comment or a personal message again. If you have a nice result, please post a video response of what you have done with this result. So thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my website at www.toleratedcinematics.com. I have a lot of other tutorials for Photoshop, After Effects, Cinema 4D, all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye.